Hello there once again, dear viewers, and a warm round of welcome to all of you to another edition of our program, Let's Talk, a presentation of the Shillong Times group. Well, we come to you every week taking up the most current issues that concerns the citizen and the public of the state. Well, lately, since the last couple of weeks, NEHU has always been in the news. And as I said, and we had taken up this topic even last week, we said that NEHU is in the news for all the wrong reasons presently. But then we thought we will take up this issue once again because there's so much going on in that university campus, as you're all very well aware of. Well, it is in the news for all the wrong reasons, be it agitation, boycott, strikes, etc. And lately, the hunger strike that is prolonging, making the students increasingly weak minute by minute, and it is taking quite a serious turn. Of course, the administration and even the government has taken some actions to quell the situation, to bring some kind of development, a positive development, but the students have refused to take up those until and unless the Vice-Chancellor himself resigns. Now, this has become the main agenda today. But today we will talk about the university, the Northeastern University, known for its past glory. Even today, as I'm sitting here, it is still known for its glorious developments, the teachings that goes on there, and so much more. So we will talk about the university in its positive sides. We'll definitely take up the issues at hand, and to tell us so much more about NEHU in a make or break situation and what is the way out or the way forward, we are being joined once again by a panel here. Let me go ahead and introduce our esteemed panel to you. Right to my extreme left is Dr. Benjamin F. Lyngdoh. He is the Associate Professor from the Department of Tourism and Hotel Management of NEHU. We are also being joined by Professor Sukalpa Bhattacharjee. She is from the Department of English from the same university in the Shillong campus. We also have here students, representatives, we have here, of course, Ymphaidien Sutong. Yes, Ymphaidien Sutong. He is the Finance Secretary of NEHUSU. And we also have a student representative of the university. And she is Iaialamdame Sarubai. Yes, so she is a student who's studying in the university. And I'm sure that with this kind of panel that we have, they will have so much to speak and so much to narrate what is going wrong in this institution. Incidentally, we would like to also tell all of our viewers here that we did invite Dr. Henry Lamin, the former Pro-VC of the Northeastern Hill University, who just backed off just a few minutes away before we were to go for this discussion. Unfortunate it is indeed, but then the show, as they say, must go on. And so we are here to discuss this important issue. A warm round of welcome to each one of you. Thank you so much for coming to the studio here to take up this important issue once again. I would like to address my first question to Dr. Benjamin. Well, in today's time, when higher education landscape is constantly changing, and universities compete with each other and they want to solidify their positions, etc. In the academic circle, can NEHU really afford to go through what it is going through now? The continuous agitations, the mistrust, the chaotic situation almost. It's sad. But then what happened to the lost glory of NEHU?
Thank you so much for having me in this panel discussion. See, in the context of Northeast India, NEHU is a grand old university.
Right.
Right from 1973. Mm-hmm. Now it's more than 51 years. Mm-hmm. And we must not forget that NEHU, the jurisdiction of NEHU was not only for Meghalaya. At one point of time when we started as a university, we were also there for Nagaland, for Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh. Of course, when Nagaland got their own university in 1994, then they took care of their own academic affairs over there in their state. Right. And then as a result of the Nagaland University coming up in 1994, we had NEHU Tura campus, which came up in the mid-1990s. And then when Mizoram got their own university in 2001, so then we were basically left with Arunachal Pradesh and NEHU in Meghalaya.
Right.
But in due course of time, they also got their own university, and so we are confined here in Meghalaya. So we are a grand old university. This is the first thing which people tend to forget. So this is what I used to emphasize all the time when I talk to people, that we must not forget our presence in the other 3 states of Northeast India. That is something very important. And in due course of time, we have come quite a long way, be it in teaching or research, practice, extension. We have had a number of collaborations. We have done some work for the society. Apart from the teaching and research, we have been involved in some extension activities every now and then. So the basic issue with NEHU right now is that when people look at the university, they look at the current situation that we are in.
Right.
These protests, these conflicts, these agitations, these problems that we are having. And this creates sort of a negative perception as far as the university is concerned. But we must not forget that we have been there for a very long time. And that was a very glorious time. Now, as a university, we have to revive that one more time. And this is the time. And to revive anything, to start again at any particular point of time, you have to take some bold decisions. And we right now, we are in that particular state where as a university, all the stakeholders of the university, we understand that we have to rise up again and build, so that the legacy that we have so far will not be a legacy which will end at a certain particular point of time, but rather we can continue from here onwards also. And you rightly pointed out that now is the age of competition. Even in education is an age of competition. So in this particular age of competition, the affairs of NEHU cannot be run as such, like we see right now. Otherwise, we will not be able to
catch up
or even compete.
Yes.
And as we all know, the ranking of the university has been going down for the last so many years. So that tells us that in the market, in this space where we compete in academics, we are losing our ground. So we have to reverse this particular trend. And this is where we need to learn from the past, understand the current situation, and start one more time. It is not all doom and gloom in NEHU. We must remember this. I would like to tell everyone who's watching this program, it's not all doom and gloom. There are many good things which are happening in the university, but it's such that these agitations which we have right now, they are, subsuming everything else good which is happening inside the university. So that is why these conflicts that we have right now, the protest, the agitation that we have right now, I just hope that it comes to end very soon. Absolutely. So that we can go back to our normal duties, our normal activities, and we can start again. And like I used to say all the time, NEHU has hit the most bottom of wherever we could land in. Now from here, the only way is up.
Absolutely. We will be talking. We will be coming back to you. Thank you for your opening comments. I come to Professor Sukalpa. Professor Sukalpa, you have been in the university, one of the senior, faculty. You have seen, I personally know you for a very long time. And you have known NEHU also for those many years, seen it grow. And, you have been in the department, but otherwise also very active with the university. Does it saddens you to see the sorry plight of situation now, the way things stand, the way it is right now? We will be going, of course, to the glorious past or the glories that is going on. But does this, because, the rapport that teachers and students share is something very unique, very, very personal, almost like a family. Seeing the situation now with so many students on a hunger strike, deteriorating their health condition, does it, you're a mother yourself, and we always believe that a teacher-student's relationship is almost parental. Does it make you sad to see the sorry state of affairs today?
Extremely saddening. There's no doubt about it. And I must say that I'm a stakeholder in many ways. I'm a teacher, I'm a parent, and most important, I'm also a proud alumna of Northeastern Hill University. Whatever I am today, I owe it to NEHU, and just as you are yourself. So I think it saddens us to see, because we have seen the best of times in Northeastern Hill University. In fact, I came from my own state to study here because it was the premier institution, one of the first central universities in this region, and therefore it really saddens me. But as I speak, my heart goes out to all our students who are actually in this whole scheme of making and breaking, because we know from history of students' movement that, particularly in universities, that students' movement have been able to break down the most despotic of regimes. And this is also a moment of, going into the annals of history, because students are breaking themselves first. And it worries us as teachers to see what future awaits. And we all hope. And let me also say that the whole of the NEHU community, I am a member of the NEHU Teachers Association, just as my colleague is. And I think we all stand together in this struggle to bring down. What is most important, a special phenomenon of this movement, is that what began as a demand for addressing genuine grievances of the stakeholders, students, teachers, and non-teaching, about certain violations of ordinances, statutes, and best practices of the university, good conventions. This had to come this far so that there was no other alternative for students than to go for this hunger strike. And it actually slowly built up. I think 3 years is a long time in the, in the history of a university for a vice chancellor to actually address genuine issues. And because it did not happen, it has reached. So one cannot say that this was the first step taken. A lot of chance was given by the 3 statutory bodies that we have. And I think this is the last point that we have reached. But we also know that this breaking will actually remake us, and we are actually looking forward to it. But this movement is not just a student movement. As you can see, the response of the civil society, political organizations, you can see number of groups coming to meet the students every day at the spot of the hunger strike. And this only shows that this is a Save NEHU, Save Education movement, which will actually take a larger shape. And only in days to come, we will know what it unfolds. But presently, the worry is more about the notification that arrived last evening that came to our notice as to the constitution of an inquiry committee of 2 members.
Right.
And earlier, we have also seen the Honorable High Court of Meghalaya taking a stand on, urging the center to take to resolve this crisis within the 20th of November. Now, we actually do not know how this inquiry will operate. We have to wait and see. But in the meantime, what happens to our student community, what happens to their health, what happens to their future, what happens to multiple issues that are coming, examinations, and all the losses that they have incurred. It's also about, giving them able leadership. The other stakeholders who are supporting them in this movement have to also, take a call on this present crisis. Because if it just stops with the constitution of an inquiry committee, then the situation will be worse. It must yield into a positive result. And I just hear, as I come here, that the Vice Chancellor has gone on leave, and let's hope that this procedure starts as soon as possible. Earned leave. Oh, so he's gone on earned leave. So, there should not be, and now it's for all stakeholders, the Teachers Association, the non-teaching association, and for the students to see that the procedural steps are followed as required in an inquiry, and so that we can go into the heart of the matter.
Absolutely, absolutely. I come to our students' representative here, and that is Ymphaidien. Ymphaidien, you are from the NEHUSU, as your teacher beside you said, that this situation now, the way we are right now, the way your fellow students are right now, it is not an event that happened just maybe 10 or 2 weeks back. You all have been trying for a long time now to cut through situations, by giving letters, memorandums, meetings, etc. But nothing came through. And finally, a situation has come now where Ma'am Sukalpa said it is a save NEHU, save education situation. Tell us what has been going on for months together and why we have reached to this level today.
So from the student union side, we have taken initiative to have table talks with the Vice Chancellor. We have sent him letters. We have table talks with him. Every time we don't have any favorable response, no actions have been taken. So this hunger strike, as some might say that it is all of a sudden, actually we already having a meeting 5 days before it, around that, and then on the day before the hunger strike, I went to Police Bazaar to buy those foams, and in the morning I bought water because we are pretty sure that the
You have
VC
to go
will
for
have
this.
the
Okay.
same will have the same attitude.
Mhm.
And then he will not respond. He didn't even came outside during the actual protest that we're doing on the 5th of November, where 2,000 students are in hand with us, protesting with us, they're walking with us. And we are pretty sure that he won't even come out, he won't even speak to us, and we have to burst into his office, as you can see in the news. We have to burst into his office. And his response, where we don't have any favorable response for him. So we have taken we have already thought about it. Like every year, we are submitting memorandums, not just us, the student union, the tenure is for 1 year. And we are submitting every year. If you see at the memorandum, it's almost like the exact copy every year. For 3 years, for what I've closely inspected, for 3 years, it's almost the same demand. So the same demand every year, students are NEHUSU, we have an election. We have a general election. So we will go to students and we tell them we will do this and we will do that. And there'll be so many students who will be contesting for a post. And then we will tell the student that this is what we will deliver you, and every year it goes on like that. And from
So
this
empty promises. basically.
promises from the
Yeah.
Vice Chancellor, and students are previous students, they did their best, but they're not brave enough to take this step.
Mhm.
But what make us to take this step is because it has gone too much. It has gone beyond what we can sit with folded hands. So we have taken this step that is a make or break situation. As you can see, the Vice Chancellor, what he has done, he himself, his selection process is already questionable. As you can see in the article written by Sir Warji, as you can see, it's already questionable. And moreover, he has kept questionable officers under him. These are very concerning for us because it's beyond what we can just observe. As you can see, registrar have no academic experience. A second highest post in the university who doesn't have academic experience. How can we just let it go like that? And the Sir Amit Gupta is the deputy assistant, the deputy registrar. As you can see in his letters, purely evidence how he is functioning in the university. So we cannot just ignore these facts. And moreover, those are some of the main people who are holding high office. There are so many teaching staff who are not up to par of the central university that we're having, who are not fit to be in university. And our only solution that we are demanding now is for the Vice Chancellor to step down. And as for now, the response from the ministry, we got is an investigation, some kind of a probe from the ministry, a two-committee ministry, and we are not very happy with that. Number one thing is that it doesn't assure what we demand.
Okay.
The hunger strike, we demand the hunger strike is for the VC to resign, and that doesn't address any of the demand in any form. The only way it has demanded, what we have seen is the leave, the 15 days leave. These 15 days leave, we are not satisfied with this one. We want him out of the campus. He will not be in campus so that we can function smoothly. We lose confidence from the 5th of November. We lose confidence in his leadership. We cannot continue under his leadership. Hunger strike will not stop until and unless we get his termination, resignation, or whatever form of his removal from the university.
I understand. I'll come back to you very soon because he's gone on leave, earned leave, what we just hear now. But that doesn't solve, and the students are still hunger striking over there with their health deteriorating every day. There's been so many days. By the time this program actually goes on air, that will be almost quite a lot of days actually, right? Though they are being treated by doctors, etc. But we cannot allow things to escalate. I'll come back to you very soon. But I just bring in a student here. You have been studying in NEHU for quite a number of years. You have experienced, what is it that some of the basic things that can easily be doable, can easily be given to the students, and yet, despite, I heard even a Wi-Fi is one of your demands. Yeah.
So thank you for having me in this discussion. Coming to this university, at first, being graduate students, we had a lot of hopes.
Right.
We had a lot of expectations. Going to a central university, we thought we'll have basic necessities.
Right.
So the basic things that students lack of now, for example, there is a lack of faculties. In most of the department, there's like less number of faculties. So sometimes the research scholars will come and take our classes. And then sometimes classes won't be there because the faculties, we don't get that kind of education that we expected at first. And then coming to hostels, there is the condition out there, the Wi-Fi, the everything, like the rooms and the cleanliness and also classrooms. And there, the library itself, we have the books also. The books, some of them are outdated. Whenever we want to access to some journals, to some books and all, we don't get that kind of information that we expected. So all these frustrations, like little small things, ma'am, small things led up to frustration. Students have been...
And I think you're always consulting each other. You'll always noticed it, and you'll also communicated with each other.
Yes,
right?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because you are speaking the minds of most of the students they're studying, I think, right?
Yes, ma'am. So as students, we usually take up these, we complain to the HODs, we complain to our students' leaders. From time to time, whenever there's a NEHUSU election, we always tell them, see, we need this, we need that. So they, as students' leaders, they always take up our issues and then they convey our message to the VC, to the administration as a whole. But so far, protest after protest, being there in the university for almost 2 years now, but then we have seen, even though there are a lot of protests, our voice, the students' leaders have taken up the issues that we demanded. But then so far, it seemed that the situation has been the same for all these years. So I think it is the right time for the students' leader to take this step, because we feel like if it's not now, then when? Because we are fed up. We are fed up with the situation in NEHU. We feel that it is our responsibility now to raise a voice so that whatever we are facing now, the future students who will be coming to this university won't face the same.
Wonderfully spoken. I really appreciate what you have said so far, Yaya. I come into both our teachers here. Some of the what she has said, the demands, wasn't that, Dr. Benjamin, doable really? For a central university.
Absolutely, 100% doable.
Yeah.
For example, if you talk about maintenance, because see, NEHU has a lot of infrastructure. Over the last so many years, a lot of infrastructure has come, although all the departments shifted to the permanent campus only in 2005. That is how, all the departments were in one place, the administration was in one place, and from 2005 onwards, we were all functioning from there. But gradually, since the 1990s, we started shifting towards Umshing Mapunra, the permanent campus, because the government of Meghalaya, I should say here, was very kind to get that land. 1,230 acres, I think. Wow. The government of Meghalaya was very kind to get for us that huge plot of land. And then since 1990s, I remember, I was a young boy, but I remember since the 1990s, these buildings started coming up, the various sections started coming up. We all started shifting gradually, and in the early 2000s, most of us were all there. Barring at present just few centers in Bijni campus, all of us are actually in one place. So in so many years, we understand that NEHU has got a lot of infrastructure. The issue is not the infrastructure that we have. The issue is the maintenance of the infrastructure. She talked about hostels. Very true. Right, we have a lot of hostels. I think we have 22, 23 hostels, somewhere around that number. So maintenance is the issue here. Then when you talk about maintenance, then you talk about facilities like Wi-Fi, for example, and other amenities like the quality of drinking water, because the water in the campus, the iron content is pretty high.
Okay.
So the water has to be treated properly. So these are some of the issues, and the quality of the roads that we have internally within the campus. And the condition of, like what he said, the classrooms and some of the basic infrastructure that we deal with every day. All of these issues, these problems, for a central university, these problems are very small problems.
Exactly, because funds are being allocated.
And we should be able to actually solve them. These are for central university. These problems are very small problems, and for NEHU not being able to deal with this for a number of years, not just 3 years. I've been there for a longer period of time. I've seen for many years. It's really something which is unexplainable. You cannot really explain why this thing is happening.
Right.
So here comes the issue exactly right now, that if you cannot even deal with small issues like this, what about bigger issues? But these are really doable.
Right.
But because they are not happening, the students have to take these type of steps.
The will somehow got missing. Maybe there was a lack of communication. I'm not really sure. Really, maybe the interest in the welfare of the students wasn't really heard. I'll just immediately come to you. But then, Dr. Sukalpa, having said so, what is really the way out now? Because, we are talking of problems, we are talking of situations, and examination is knocking at the door, right? The students are demoralized totally. You as teachers and faculties also are worried because, end semester exams are there, which these master students have to take it up very soon. Are they really prepared for it? And won't that affect their near future also?
Actually, even trying to find a solution clinically would not address the real grievances. You can see that the grievances are extremely genuine, and and students are the most important stakeholders. Students are there, and therefore others are there.
Absolutely.
So this is one of the most serious concerns, that over a period of time, we understand that appointment of vice chancellors have other considerations, but you need someone who can actually give both academic and administrative leadership. One of the serious concerns have been because of the incompetence of people sitting in the highest chair in universities. Not only in NEHU, we have seen this in other universities as well. And we have also seen the differences it has made when people at the top chair, you look at, earlier we used to hear that it's only central universities which have funding, state universities do not. I myself came to work here from a state university, and when I go back there, I find that look at Assam, look at the state universities, look at Guwahati University, look at Dibrugarh University. I mean, wonderful infrastructure. The idea is there must be a will to generate resources, to be able to tap the right places in Delhi, to be able to get funds. Okay. So look at the hostels, canteens. These are basic needs. So it's not just about, mechanically parroting and studying. So lack of autonomy, cut down on funding, cutting down allowances, also not filling up vacancies,
yes.
Okay, both in teaching and non-teaching, the declining work culture because of people being overstressed.
But why was funds, cut down? Why? I mean, funds were coming. So where are the funds going?
No, there's kind of a competition. I mean, each vice chancellor comes and there's a credit to be able to please the ministry back in Delhi and cutting down. One of our most important allowances, which is the Hill allowance, that was cut down. And it's just like, letters come from there, and the vice chancellors are in a hurry. The hurry that they were in when the NEP has been implemented.
Right.
We can see, the outcome of it. There was no need to implement that in a hurry. And everyone is confused. It's a horrible state of affairs.
Absolutely.
So there's always a rush whenever a notification comes from Delhi. So one has to understand that all the stakeholders need to partake. It cannot be just one-way traffic.
Right.
So it has been running in this way. And this is what I say, absolute despotic running of institutions.
The
Academic institutions cannot run.
In
And
this
therefore
manner.
this frustration, therefore this, demoralized attitude. You will find, suppose, if there's no incentive, no appreciation, if there's no promotion of teachers, if there's no filling up of vacancies, I mean, it's obvious that one would burst out. And I think we have reached the pinnacle of that point where everything is bursting
Yeah.
up.
Just on the
Yes.
point of examinations that you raised earlier,
Yeah.
I would just like to state here that UG examinations are going as per schedule.
Yes.
The only issue we are looking at right now is the exams for the PG and of course the UG, which are within the campus.
Right.
But the college
Right.
examinations are as per schedule. They are
Yes,
going on.
yes, that is what we were told also. But then, I was talking about the general, mindset. The mental makeup of the students. They may not be directly involved in it, but they are concerned for their friends who are
Yes,
there,
sure,
right?
sure. Okay.
Pailang, you wanted to come in. Tell us
Yes,
what
I
is
wanted
it?
to comment on what Sir had expressed that it is very much that we can take action, that we can provide those infrastructures
right.
and stuff. But when you look at it carefully, actually what is missing is from the anything that has the recurring costs. Recurring costs, those things won't be maintained at all. So this is the issues that we're having here. Then the root cause of this is because Vice Chancellor himself, he is managing the microfinance. As we have many complaints from the finance office, from the teachers who knows the ins and outs of NEHUs, he is managing finance. If you want to buy a bulb light, anything, he will be managing finance. The files have to go through him. And even for projects, in every university we have sponsored project from outside bodies from outside will sponsor some projects. They'll get a PI which is from the institute, and then there is a project we won. And these funds will be allocated and will be managed by the finance department of that university. What happened in our university is that, I don't know, Vice Chancellor from whichever angle he look at it, he wants every file, even of those projects, to go through his table. So as ma'am had said that he want to please
The masters.
from the central government, from the ministry. He want to please them so as to save as much fund as possible. Maybe if that's the case. So that may be one of the reasons. So
This is the trend we have seen even earlier. Even before the regime of this Vice Chancellor, we have seen this tendency to constantly be able to implement in a hurried way whatever comes from Delhi. And sometimes, when colleagues have filed RTI, we have found that many of it was just hoax. Okay. And so this is how we have been, this absolute absence of transparency in the whole of administration.
Right.
A Vice Chancellor, despite whatever reasons he might be appointed, one must be sensitive to the needs of the university, sensitive to the cultural aspirations of the region, sensitive to the needs of the future generation, to the minimum basic needs of the stakeholders. Nothing absolutely happened. And this is a trend not only the last 3 years. I'm saying even earlier, the 7-8 years. If you think of a graph of decline, it began from there.
Right. So now we also want to focus on the way out. Of course, there are tons of problems, and it's accumulative over the years, but we need to find a way where all stakeholders come together and work to bring back NEHU to the position that it always was, to take it to its old glory and even higher. Why not? So what's the way out? Benjamin, Dr. Benjamin, tell me, which are some of the areas that can be worked now, despite all this that is going on, so that we can take, and as you said earlier, it is not all doom and gloom. There are some good works also happening.
Yes.
What more needs to be done really to push up the image of NEHU? Because NEHU is just not for the students. We have students from all over the Northeast, and even outside and beyond the borders coming and studying here.
For me to start with, let us fill up the posts which are there.
Okay.
There are still quite a number of posts which are still lying vacant. Let us fill up all the posts. And let us give promotions whenever they are due.
Okay.
And let's hold them on time also, regularly, so that the morale of the teachers will be high. And when the morale is high, teaching will be good, research will be good, extension will be good, everything will be good. You start with that. Number 2, then you fill up these non-teaching posts, which has been advertised now for more than 1 year.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, legally it might have lapsed also because we have not done anything. So it has been advertised for more than 1 year, but nothing has been done as far as those posts are concerned. Let's fill up those posts, and then let's have some sort of a very rational and realistic view of some of the employees of NEHU who have been there for years together, but their services have not been regularized. They have been there for years together, And most of them, when these advertisements came out last year, they were really worried because the story which was going around in the campus is that once these new people come, you will be out. So we have to be a bit careful as far as that particular type of situation is concerned. And then you look at the needs of the students,
Exactly.
the very basic
That
needs.
is the most
Wi-Fi,
important
the
priority.
hostel,
Yeah.
the classrooms, the amenities, the facilities, the quality of drinking water. Look at the needs of the students. Now, when you do this, you are straight away tackling the issue of the teaching, the non-teaching, and the student stakeholders. Now, when these three arms are happy and that they're very satisfied with whatever they have in the library and all that, then that is where we start climbing up one more time. And that is how the peer perception of NEHU will also start climbing up. We are down in NIRF.
Right.
The main reason is because our peer perception is really, really abysmal, I should say. The peer perception of the last NIRF, I think, was only 3.16 or 3.17 out of 100. Can you imagine? And that is why we are down. And now, why peer perception has come down? Because of these issues in teaching, non-teaching, student, which I mentioned just now. I'll not repeat all of those. So these are sort of a domino effect, right? You take care of one particular issue, then other issues will just fall in place.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
And then whenever the need comes to maintain, he was talking about recurring expenses and all that. When you have to do that, then you please do it on time. Because the more you delay, there'll be escalation of costs. And you know how cost escalates, especially in a place like Shillong, here in Northeast India, where the cost of living itself is pretty high, right? So we have to start with the very basic things. You see, if you look at the things that I'm mentioning right now, these are not over the top, very difficult things.
Not at all.
Simple things. Just do the simple things right. And then for the administration, please follow the statutes, the ordinance, the regulations of the university. Very simple. No rocket science. Just follow all of that. We as a university, we have been running for so many years because we have these pillars in place. You follow the pillars, okay, you'll have a strong platform where you can function and be, a sort of an admin like administration where you are inclusive. You take ideas from stakeholders. And then, I used to say all the time, there's a principle which is very common. If a matter concerns all, then it should be decided by consulting all, right? So that's sort of an approach. The Nobel Prize in Economics. Let me close with this for this particular year. Went to these researchers from MIT, and one of the researchers was from University of Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. 3 people together. What was the research? The research was inclusive institutions. Institutions who make policies by taking ideas from the community, the grassroots, the stakeholders. And what happens according to their research is that when you do that and then you implement that particular law or policy or strategy, everyone takes part. Why? Because I have agreed to it. Because you see, in a university, there is this principle of universality.
Right.
Okay, everything is universal. So you will have to carry everyone along.
Together, yes.
Now you see what will happen if these pillars now all fall into place. NEHU again will have a very strong platform, right? And then that is how we'll be able to rise again one more time and build. And that is how again the peer perception in itself will take care.
Absolutely. Because the foundation was laid on very, very strong grounds. We had earlier administrators, earlier vice chancellors. I don't want to take their names because we had taken their names. But yes, we had like professors, okay, we had Professor David Aimley, and so many more others.
Professor Miri.
Mrinal Miri, exactly. They laid the foundation, very solid, strong footing. It is now as they're building, those are a little shaky, not really in the right place. I come to you once again, Ymphaidien. The VC has gone on leave. The government has given certain, tried to take certain actions, be it a committee or the court has told to solve, or the pro VCs that has been appointed, but then they refused. Yeah, they declined to think. Now what? Because will the hunger strike continue? To what extent are you willing to go? Because the students' health will deteriorate day by day. There has to be some compromise, some give and take, some way out. So what is, as a NEHUSU representative and she as a student herself, what is it that you now want?
Yes, from the student side, those who are on the hunger strike, they are very firm on their stance. the nature of why they have taken that stance that they will be taking a hunger strike too, it has been we have already had a meeting, we already talked about it. They are very firm in their stance that unless Vice Chancellor is officially out of Northeastern University, they will not stop the hunger strike. So that's a very firm from us. And yes, as you can see, their health are very deteriorating. As you can see yesterday too, Mr. Sandy Sortun, who's the president of NEHUSU, has been admitted to civil hospital Shillong in the critical care unit, CCU unit, critical care unit. He had blurred vision and his internal organs are having cramps, pain. So it is very concerning. And yesterday too, around 8 students were hospitalized when they test them. When they have their investigation, they found that they were too exhausted, too weak there. So they have to hospitalize 8 at once. As you can see, the news 3 are sleeping in one bed, as you can see, because we have our emergency health center cannot accommodate so much people. So their health are deteriorating because it has been 10 days now. But we have no response, we have no intervention with respect to our demand. The Vice Chancellor himself has abandoned the university. As you have can see, the registrar has taken leave. Yesterday, he's taken leave through WhatsApp, and he has joined back the university through WhatsApp. There's no paper trails about his resume in office. And the Vice Chancellor is out of university. He is commanding, as you can see, the appointment of those Pro-Vice Chancellors, which was very inappropriate. It's not in the proper channel. It's not going through proper channel as has been stated by those who have been appointed. Actually, it's not appointed. Even in that letter itself, it has actually should be recommendation. It can only be appointed by the EC meeting. So there's many irregularities.
Another example of violation.
Yes,
No
that's
respect.
violation.
Yeah.
That's a very good
Assistant
point.
Registrar of
Exactly.
Planning.
Exactly.
There are so many who have the capacity to make that order. But as we can see, who make that order is the assistant registrar, who is just in charge of planning that too. And as we can see, if we look closely into this matter, we see this assistant registrar, who is Professor Biswal. His title as a professor is a question. His experience is around 10 years of a technician in the Department of Bioinformatics. How can a person from bioinformatics, no experience in zoology or any teaching experience, can become a professor just because of 10 years of lab technician?
Absolutely.
That is
I thoroughly understand. That means the hunger strike will go on, come
it will
what
go
may.
on, come what may.
Till the authorities, and now I think from the center as well as the state needs to take immediate action. The court, till the 20th, it has taken time, right? The court will not intervene, I guess, till the 20th. After that, but 20th is still far away, right? Quickly, you want to add to what he has just said, as we are almost here.
Yes, ma'am. So, as a student community as a whole, we are very concerned with the health of our students' leaders. We salute them for taking this brave step. But then, being there in the situation, one of the member who is on the hunger strike, he was talking to me saying that if I keep on starving for one more week, I think I will die. But I will not stop till the VC step down. So that is the voice of the students. So learning from this situation as a student community, even though Sir has said that if the VC provide us, like if the administration is better in the future, then all those will come. Of course, we will have to work hard. Of course, we have to do our part as a student sphere. But then the future administrators who will be coming to NEHU, they must remember that you cannot do whatever you want in NEHU. As a students, we will keep on watching. We will keep on checking on what are they doing, and we will raise a voice. And we will not stand down till the VC step down. So that is our voice.
Okay, that's indeed the minds of all the students. Dr. Sukalpa, as we are winding up, it is really, really sad that we have these they're children, in front of us, they are children. And yet, it's very, very painful. I feel the goosebumps, that we have to be in this position, that they have to speak and the health is deteriorating. However, again, I ask you, what is the way out? Because somewhere there has to be a compromise. The government has to intervene now. Otherwise, there's something very drastic will go wrong, and then things will escalate so much more. And, we can't allow NEHU to function in that manner.
I will address your immediate question first, and then summarize
Right.
how we visualize the future. Of course, a lot of development is happening today. For example, our parent bodies are, and they have been earlier also, they have met the rector of the university, the governor, and we were actually looking forward to the intervention of the governor locally so that things could happen faster at the level of Delhi, because every minute is very vital, and
Precious.
we are extremely worried about the deteriorating condition. So our parent bodies will take a call, and a lot of things might have happened as we are here,
Yes.
and we'll take a call on this. And I'm sure that concerning the probe, and it's very interesting, the 4 areas in which the probe is to be conducted. One is, and the most important ones come last, the non-responsiveness of the Vice Chancellor. That's the last point, the 4th one. Earlier to this is the appointment of the registrar, deputy registrar, and then before that is the infrastructure, and another question about fall in our ranking. Okay. I would just urge the society at large to not judge NEHU by what is happening
In this
now.
present
NEHU
situation.
is not a war zone. NEHU has been pushed to become a war zone. It is not. It is a fertile land of academic. You have a very significant, alumni who are serving in different capacities in this state, in the highest offices as bureaucrats, okay, deputy commissioner, or in other states, in the country, abroad. In the recent news, you have seen that 3 of our colleagues have been in the Stanford list of 2% scientists. And out of the 3, one of them, Professor A.K. Chandra of the chemistry department, has been consistently there even earlier. Even to that, we have said several times that he needs to be felicitated, and these colleagues need to be. But there is no incentive, there's no appreciation for good work. It matters a lot, you see. We are teachers and we encourage our students. If they don't get appreciation, they don't rise. So in every sphere, there is a need to create an environment of rising up and building. And that is the call of this hour. But I also want to say that despite the dark ages that we have come through, and I'm talking specifically about this regime and the previous regime, that despite the worst of times, teachers, students, and non-teaching have done their job very well, and we have seen that. I've just mentioned the 3 scientists, and we also have a number of departments. I mean, number of our colleagues have patents, okay? A number of them are into outreach program addressing the immediate issues of uranium mining or cancer. You find a lot of translations happening in the language and literature departments in NEHU, where the regional languages, literatures in regional languages getting translated for the wider public readership, translated into English and Hindi. A lot of work is being done. Garo department, okay, trying to shape the trajectory of Garo literature. They are one of the, first, academics trying to find a kind of a solid base for the construction of Garo literature. So our colleagues are working very hard despite the times. So NEHU is not to be looked at only from the negative publicity. I urge the larger society to look at our annual report, which goes to Parliament every financial year. And there one can see that despite all these obstacles, problem of projects, non-granting of funds, seminars, conferences cannot be held because funds are not released in due time. Okay. Without this, how do faculty, students, how do they work? Look at the library facilities. See the purchase. Okay, how it happens. No infrastructure. 4th semester students in the science departments, they have to buy their own chemical. Okay. In other departments where laboratory work is not involved, teachers are doing their bit because suddenly we have come to this point that 4th semester students are writing dissertations. In the science departments, they do projects. So we have a number of things to talk about. I could actually go on and on.
Absolutely.
And our colleagues are doing extremely well. Very recently, my colleague from the Department of English, his novel has been listed long listed in the JCB Book Prize for Literature. So, and we are collaborators to the Shillong Literary Festival beginning very soon. So a lot of activities happening despite this impasse. So, decadence, status, and emergence is a part of the life of an university, and we are not to be pessimistic about it.
Not
NEHU
pretty
will,
or
yes.
NEHU
So-
will shine,
Sure.
rise, and
NEHU
build
will
once
rise
again. Yes.
because the core of NEHU
yes,
are doing their job.
absolutely.
Okay, so anyone coming, I mean, vice chancellors and administrators come and go, but we remain here. So NEHU will remain. That's my.
That's fantastic. This gives a lot of hope, I think, to our students here, to everybody who's watching, because a number of students are watching this program, and they are watching, they are wanting this impasse to end, and they want to rise and shine together. I'm sure that they will, because as we are all stakeholders of this university, I have passed out from the university up to my research, and all of you, and they are, yes, quickly.
For me, I'm really happy that we have 2 students in this particular program, because this is actually, we are just here to support them.
Yes.
It's actually their program,
Yeah.
and I'm very happy that as a society, all stakeholders, we were able to hear from them directly.
Yeah.
That is the first thing.
And,
The
and
second
they've
thing-
spoken so wonderfully.
Yes.
They've
And
spoken
you
from the
should-
heart, actually.
Yeah, and he should be allowed to make closing comments.
Mm.
Yeah. And for me, how I foresee this particular situation, I just hope, and I really hope that the Ministry of Education and the Office of the Honorable President of India, they really take a wise call on this, so that this particular, agitation that we have now would end, and the hunger strike would end. Students would be able to go back home and
Yes.
take care of their health.
Mm.
That is the most important thing
Mm.
right now.
Mm.
And as ma'am said just now, as we are speaking here, some developments are happening,
Right.
which I will not want to share, because it's a pretty fuzzy situation right now. But we all hope for the best.
Okay. Quick comments as we are just 30 seconds maybe, because we'll run out of time actually.
Yes. So from our side, let this be a message to the central government who are sending VCs to central universities, that we, students of NEHU, we will never accept these kinds of, we'll give them at least maybe 2 years. After 2 years, we will not let them be in office if they are acting in this way that they are acting. We cannot accept this kind of violence. As you can see, last year, previously, this year, previously, the governor of Meghalaya, Satyapal Malik, he made a comment in front of the vice chancellor that these days government are sending vice chancellor who are not even fit to be principal of schools. So, and if the ministry or anyone from central government is watching this, this is a strong message from the student that we will give them a honeymoon period of 2 years. After that, we will chase them out of our
In this
Yes,
case,
yeah.
Normally,
no,
when they
normally
don't
honeymoon
perform.
period is never 2 years.
but in this case also 3 years of
3
honeymoon
years,
period was
Absolutely.
given.
Extended honeymoon.
Yes.
Okay, right?
So by hook or by crook,
It's never
the students will never accept this kinds of vice chancellor. We will make our voice heard by any means.
Absolutely. Very strong message there. Quickly. Yes.
From the students community, also we want the vice chancellor to please heard their voice. The students leaders have been protesting out there in the cold and in their empty stomach. We don't want anything bad happen to our students leaders. We don't want anything bad happen in the NEHU environment. We are always ready to work with the administration, with everyone. But then if this is the condition, we don't want to be a part of this. We want all the injustice to be carried away, and then we don't want any injustice happen to any of the students, to any one of the stakeholders in the university. So please solve this issue as soon as possible. And if you are working in this type of situation, in this condition, if you are working and if you are recruiting in incompatible
Incompetent
people,
Mhm.
then I think we lose confidence in your leadership, and we don't want any bad situation happens to the student community. So it is time for you to step down. That is it.
Okay. And Northeast can never be a dumping ground, really. I mean,
Yes.
it can't be, because we as a region, we've always been together. We are 7 beautiful sisters with 1 brother, and we have always lived in harmony, and we have always, contributed to the national development, and, we have always been, and, we have always been a family, I think, and that's it. And NEHU is one big family. I salute the students definitely
Yes.
who are there in the
Yes.
cold. I mean, it is winter. I mean, temperatures are falling every single day, but they are there in the cold, hungry. I mean, I can't even imagine this, but then they are doing that. Salute to all of them, but then they are doing it for the betterment of their university, to bring the change for their own future, and as Yaya said, for the future of all successive students that will come. I really hope by the time this program of ours gets aired, we will have good news, better news to rejoice, to celebrate, and NEHU will be in its glorious position once again. Thank you all so much.
You must have a program to celebrate NEHU's glory.
Absolutely
devoted.
We will bring
so
you
that
back
the public
again.
perception
Right.
will
We will,
change.
because
That's
we
the
don't
point.
want very gloomy faces. They are gloomy, they are sad. I was watching their eyes, you know.
And
We
in
want
that
happy
program,
faces.
in that
Yeah.
program, the majority should be the students.
Right. We will definitely do that. But on that note, thank you so much for coming to us, to the studios here. Thank you, dear students, for and the student leader also here, organization leader, and the teachers for coming and giving us so wonderful inputs and telling us what's the way forward to this impasse that we are currently having. Well, on that note, we need to wrap up. Thank you all for watching this program. Do leave behind your comments and your messages also in the comment section. And until next time, with the next edition of Let's Talk, it's goodbye.